How's it going, guys, and welcome to this week's episode of The Link, brought to you by expforall.net. I'm Glake, and this week we have some updates for you guys regarding E3 2017, Project Cars 2, and the development process for Destiny 2. Let's jump right into it. So yes, I know it's only February. It may be a little bit too early to discuss E3 2017 news, but the company came out earlier this week and announced something that completely shocked all of us. The Electronic Entertainment Expo announced earlier this week that this year's convention will officially be open to the public for the first time ever. The company will be selling a maximum of 15,000 tickets for the expo, which will be priced between $149 to $249, depending on when you purchase the tickets. The first 1,000 tickets are said to be available for $149, with the remaining set at the $249 price point. E3 2017 will take place from June 13th through the 17th in Los Angeles, California. Now, this is a huge announcement for those of you who have been following the video game industry for some time now. E3 has always been known to be a convention that is more closed off, more only open to developers, famous YouTubers, and people of the press, that sort of thing. It's never been something that has been open as large of a scale as it's going to be this year, to the point where they're actually selling tickets out for anybody to purchase, really. Honestly, I feel like this comes as a result of, the decline of participants at E3 over the past few years. The convention's kind of been on a decline a little bit. It's not like a huge decline, like, oh my god, E3 is dying. But a lot of developers such as Microsoft, Sony, EA, Ubisoft, they've all been holding their own events outside of E3. And a lot of these have been actually happening alongside E3 when it's happening. So it's like people who aren't allowed into E3, they can go to these events because they're open to the public most of the time, or at least they sell tickets for the public to buy. So E3's got a little bit of competition now, and they've kind of got to step up their game if they want to remain relevant within the years to come. So I think finally opening up the convention to the public is probably the perfect choice for this day and age. Racers are definitely making a comeback this 2017 and into 2018, really, with the potential Forza Motorsport 7 on the way, Gran Turismo Sport, a brand new Need for Speed game, and of course, Project Cars 2, despite us not hearing a whole lot about it recently. Slightly Mad and Bandai Namco have officially announced that Project Cars 2 is on the way, despite the developers running into a few issues surrounding funding the development of the game. Project Cars 2 is set to be a giant step up from its predecessor, featuring over 170 new licensed cars, along with the largest track roster to ever be available on console. The game will also feature full VR support and 12K HDR support. Project Cars is also set to feature a much richer online experience, sporting a new online championship series. Project Cars arrives later this year on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. So definitely, if a Forza Motorsport 7 is in fact on the way for this year, which it very likely is, and if Gran Turismo Sport actually releases this year, which is currently planned because it did get delayed from 2016 into 2017, both those games might have a little bit of competition, because Project Cars is definitely not a series to be slept on. Yes, its first entry, I think, that released back in 2015. It was either late 2014 or early 2015. I don't exactly remember. Yes, that may have had a few issues, but it was a really well-received racing car game. And usually it takes racing games, a few iterations, a few entries to really get going, really, kind of catch up with the Gran Turismo franchise and the Forza franchise, but Project Cars really did really well for itself. It's actually one of the few racing games that actually caught my eye immediately. I'll definitely be picking up Project Cars 2, even though I'm terrible at racing. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I am really bad at driving, but it's nice to see that they will in fact be focusing a whole lot more on the online multiplayer experience. Something that Gran Turismo Sport and the new Need for Speed, which is set to launch sometime next year, has already been confirmed to be focusing on as well. So if you're a huge Destiny fan like myself and you've been awaiting more details regarding Destiny 2, well, Activision has finally, briefed us with a little bit of information this week. Not much, but definitely something that will make you look forward to the game a little bit more. Activision has recently shed some light on the Destiny 2 development recently this week during the recent earnings report. Both an executive of Activision, Thomas Hippel, as well as the CEO, Eric Hirschberg, confirmed several details regarding the game. Development process was stated to be going great, with the game being developed to thrill the already existing fan base. Hirschberg also confirmed that the sequel would contain a great cinematic story, which will feature many memorable characters for fans to fall in love with. Destiny 2 is still on track for a 2017 release, with the official launch platform still to be announced. Now, for those of you who maybe haven't been following the whole Destiny 2 development process lately, so basically the game was on track for a 2016 release, but I guess they had Rise of Irons in the works or something along those lines, so the game, Destiny 2 that is, was ultimately pushed into 2017, which was pretty much expected at that point. And ever since the delay, we haven't really heard all that much information regarding the game. It's kind of crazy because we were originally supposed to get this game last year, but with it being pushed into 2017, you know, you'd think we'd at least hear a little bit more information about it, but we haven't heard all that much. Now, it was also confirmed during their earnings report or whatever that they do have plans to do seasonal updates for the game. And from the sounds of things right now, they're kind of aiming to make the updates a little bit more frequent. Right now, we really only get big updates during winter and during spring, but this time around, it seems like they're trying to aim for updates to take place during every single season, in addition to yearly expansions once again. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Also, in regards to the great cinematic story that they're apparently focusing on for Destiny 2, this makes me really excited because while I'm not that big of a PvE player, while I haven't really cared all that much about the Destiny story, I will say that the Taken King, when that released, I was definitely a lot more interested in the story, mainly due to all the cinematics that were happening. It looked really, really awesome. Yes, we only got a few cinematics thrown in there, but overall, the focus on the story in the Taken King was so good. It just was developed so well that I feel like if they really put more focus on the cinematic story, that I feel like the Destiny story will completely blow up. So, I mean, considering the fact that they're working on that for Destiny 2, it has me really stoked, really excited to actually dive into the story of this game. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of The Link, brought to you by expforall.net. As usual, you can check out all of our other articles and all the other news updates we've written throughout the past week over on expforall.net. We're also on Twitter. You can follow us on there for more updates, for all the news when we tweet it on Twitter, all that kind of stuff at twitter.com/expforall. And we're also on facebook.com as well at facebook.com/expforall. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe, drop it a like, and I will see you all next week. You guys keep on gaming. Peace out.